If you had to explain Omniboost, how would you explain Omniboost? What do we do?
Automate everything to make your life for the customers easier, that they can more focus on the guest and hospitality.
Ramon. That is sometimes hard to do in a 10-second, 15-second, 30-second elevator pitch, isn't it?
Pitch Omniboost in 15 seconds. It's one of the most difficult things about the initial conversation. The first 10 seconds are kind of difficult, especially with new people.
These hoteliers, they are used to doing things a certain way. And when you're comfortable doing that, why change?
You will have more time to do other things that you automate things, and that's very important. The change is important.
It's easy to do it how you always done it, but if you start understanding the cost of it, potential losses, that's where the automation really levels up their game.
Ultimately, clients also want to have responsibility in the process of building the solution. We are still the ones with the product, and we are the ones that make the lives of our clients easier. We collaborate together, and then ultimately we arrive at the best possible solution for the clients we love working with.
People want to improve process. They want to reduce manual work. They want to power up revenue. That's what Omniboost does. Okay. If you were to do a podcast and say some funny stuff, what would you talk about?
Ooh, that's a difficult. I think just the days we have some more fun next to the fair, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, would you talk about work stories?
Yeah, work stories, your own life. It's also nice to learn somebody else as well at the company. Especially Romano, I didn't know him that well, but it's nice to go on a trip with them now.
Yeah,
to learn more about him.
Yeah, I mean, so we're here on site in Vegas at a conference for a large brand that we recently became vendor certified of.
Yep.
First time in Vegas? Or no, you've been here before?
Yeah, second time.
First time, was it work or pleasure?
First time work. The beginning was pleasure, and now it's work.
Your first time you came to Vegas was for fun. This time is for work.
Yeah, that's right.
How did the experience change from doing it for pleasure versus like being a business trip?
Yeah. With pleasure, there was more family, fun stuff, walking around in all the hotels, the casinos. But now at work, it's nice to share it with your colleagues. Also do the fair together.
Okay, so we're here on site. We're at this event. We spent a week in Vegas. What are some of your key takeaways? What from an event like this, being on a business trip? It's Vegas. Vegas is crazy, fun, entertaining, all the things. What's your key takeaways from a week in Vegas for work?
Learn a lot of things, especially for work itself, what we can do, what we can't do. Also to see where we need to tweak a bit or position or the things what we want to do in the future. So that was a good learning trip for that.
Nice. And so you've been on with Omniboost now, Vincent, for a year and a half?
Yep, that's right.
Right. So you joined on, you started on the customer support side of things.
Yes.
Onboarding a lot of our point of sale to PMS customers.
Yep.
You've been spending the last 6 months really in an ops focused role, from everything from pipelines and Salesforce to process improvements and whatnot.
Yep.
How has your role evolved, and what have you loved most about the evolution of your role, and how does that impact being on a trade show floor with our customers? And what are the types of conversations that led you to have?
So first of all, I think it was very good to start as a support and onboarding because you learn the real insights of the company. You understand the customer's thinking points, say it like that. So it's good to start on that side. But it's also very nice for me to work in the process to improve things, because there's always improvements to make it more efficient. So that's something that I love to do. And even for this fair now, it's nice to see with other people you can easily explain things about everything we do at Omniboost, about POS to PMS systems, PMS to our accounting system. So it's nice to have the first part of support and onboarding, then it's easier to talk with people.
Yeah, Omniboost, we're Consultative SaaS, right? Which means we have out-of-the-box products, but we also have with hospitality accounting, especially.
Yep.
There's always about 15% that has to be customized, and that is customized based on mapping codes, transaction codes. Whether you're more of an economy brand or like an upscale brand, right? They have different things and services and offerings, so all that affects the mapping, right? So that can kind of be a bit nuanced if you don't know. So having that deep product knowledge is quite amazing, but it also makes it hard because if you had to explain Omniboost to somebody, how would you explain Omniboost? What do we do?
Oh, that's a good one. That Omniboost, we have our own data unification platform, like everybody already knows. We are focusing on POS to PMS integrations, PMS to accounting, and also POS to accounting, with the focus on automate everything to make your life for the customers easier, that they can more focus on the guest and hospitality.
What do you think the biggest misconception about what Omniboost does or who we are that we hear from our clients that we maybe have learned here this week in Vegas, that people kind of look at us or see us as, or maybe not understand what we do? What are those things that kind of jumped out to you?
For me, they are quite used to the things they are doing now, and then they are not that common to change. Like they always say, but we are used to do it like this, and it's easy for us to do it like this. So why should we change it? And then you really need to talk to them. You have more time to do other things, that you automate things, and that's very important, especially the day of now, and also in the future, even with AI. Everybody knows about AI. I think the change is important.
I think that's a couple of things that you kind of said there. One, we know everyone's talking about AI, and we've not even scratched the surface of what AI can do in the hospitality industry. Yeah. And a lot of people talk about AI in terms of automation, right? There's automation first, and there's full kind of natural language processing, ML, these type of things, which stuff that we're working on with our AI tools and vision, which you're heavily involved in.
Yep.
But I do think that one of the biggest kind of things, as you said, is that these hoteliers, they are used to doing things a certain way, and they've been doing it for years. And we notice some of the people here own properties for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, handing it down to their kids, next generation, right? And there's the way of doing things. And when you're comfortable doing that, why change, right? And so highlighting what is the biggest unique kind of challenge that we solve for them. And you kind of highlighted it really comes down to two things. One, reducing manual processing. Reducing the amount of hours it takes you to reconcile your books, to do your night audit, all those things, because we automate the night out for you. So whether you or your CPA, all you have to do is do the final reconciliation, right? Second piece of that really comes down to what is the cost of a human error, especially as it relates to accounting, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we say that or we share that, that's kind of when it was like it's a light bulb. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time doing an Excel spreadsheet and then double checking it, and then something doesn't work, and you have to go back and look through all these transaction codes and whatever to find where the, maybe $5, $20, $100,000 is missing. And maybe it's only $5 a day or something, but you take that over 365 days, that's a lot of money in missed opportunity, right? So really making sure they understand where the automation and our platform helps them, but also the proactive versus reactive approach. The way that most hoteliers do their night audit today is reactive. Somebody goes in, manually does it, boom, 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 versus proactive. It pushes every day. There's error messaging saying, hey, something's off. You're seeing a rounding error every day. It could be a mapping issue, to things like, hey, something didn't get pushed today. We could do historical reruns so you never lose out on your data, and you have more data sets to use good data to make decisions on.
That's right.
And when we start speaking like that, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But from an ops perspective internally, it also means for us that we need to continue to look at how do we manage the internal operations for maintenance of the platform, right? Because it is a platform. There is stuff that needs to be done, and you need to maintain it. We need to optimize it. We need to continually make sure that everything happens day in and day out. We have over 8,500 integrations running.
That's a lot.
And making sure that things move from that perspective is really important. I think it's really great because it's something that we learned here is highlighting those things, because it's easy to do it how you always done it. But if you start understanding the cost of it and the potential losses because of missed things in manual processes, that's where the automation really levels up their game, right? From whether it's a single hotel to multi-property or big enterprise, right?
Yep, that's correct.
So when we think about being here, doing these type of things, being on a floor, you know, you have the sales team here, you're representing the ops team. What have you noticed or maybe learned how to better engage with the operational execution? You know, sales, we bring in a new hotel or a chain, we have integration in Stack or not in Stack, and then there's all the things that need to happen. What have you learned on how do we better align from when a deal comes in to the operational process all the way through onboarding, and what do we need to improve?
So it's nice to speak with people on the floor to see what they are also thinking about the future integrations or the integration that they can do, to see, all right, even for pricing wise, for how they like to see it, how they want to receive all the data. So it's nice to know those things and the points of that they're telling to us, and then you can properly create a process around it and see, all right, we have a lot of volume, then we need to work harder to get integration live as well. We need to focus on it, and then need to create always good documentation so they can do the onboardings by themselves and have a proper flow in it. And that's something that you see that's possible and that we also can do.
So when we look at onboarding a new customer, say we have a new hotel onboarding to PMS to accounting, what is from an onboarding standpoint, what is the biggest lift from our team as well as from our customer to make sure they get it right in the beginning to ensure a smooth operational onboarding and consistency across the integration over time?
It's all in the information. So receiving the information correctly from them, to have all the steps next to it, that we can do it flawless, immediately right. And if you don't receive correct information of the properties, then we will always have some difficulties. So it's important that the information is correct in the beginning, and then it will all be smooth.
Yeah. And this is where things like our base platform, right?
Yep.
Our core platform that allows us to even, as we continue to do self-onboarding and get more integrations into the self-onboarding queue, where they can enter that information or can pull that information so you have less even manual error from that. You know, what I always notice, and when we get technical talking about it, right, is the mapping side of things. And this is where we always like to say, from a semantics layer, we know what the PMS needs and we know what the accounting needs to get pulled from PMS to push it into your accounting to do the output file, right?
Yep.
I'd probably say 90 to 95% of our support tickets and additional conversations from our customers is mapping.
Yeah.
And this is talking about that information because each hotel has different product codes, transaction types, depending on what they're using for, their systems, to what they offer at the hotel. Yep. Are you offering different types of rooms? Are you offering different types of restaurants on site? Do you have multiple restaurants? Do you have a coffee shop and a restaurant? Do you have a bar only? All these things impact. And so understanding the mapping process, because once you get mapping right, things are much more fluid, right?
Definitely.
So how do we help make sure our customers understand the importance of that kind of initial onboarding and mapping session?
Yeah, it's again with documentation. It's important to for them receive good steps easily to understand it with all the information needed, but also not too much, because we know not all of them would like to read a page of 8 things or like 8 pages long documentation. So it's needs to be focused, bullet points, quick steps, and
so we also understand that our restaurants and hoteliers they're busy. They're busy people. They've got a lot going on. So we need to make it as seamless as possible. And I think that's one thing that we've done well And it's one thing that we continue to do better. And tools like AI are going to help improve this. Our automation tools, our self-onboarding with our base platform. These are the things that continue for us to level up over time. And it's those functionality increases that we add into our integrations that just make them what they are. And I think the cool thing that we always talk about is we're consultative SaaS. There are a lot of products in the market that have a middleware and it does X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Ours does X, Y, Z, A, B, C based on what are your needs, right? Which is one, amazing. Two, sometimes a bit complicated. Hence, going back to the questions around operational efficiency, documentation, and the importance of having buy-in from the customer on the front end. Because if you give us the extra 30, 45 minutes in the front end to make sure all your information is clean, to make sure that your mapping's done, you don't have any issues, right? That's where this thing gets really smooth process, right?
Correct.
So when you think about future of Omniboost, right? What are you most excited about in the way that we continue to grow and what some of the projects you're working on? Because you're leading some of the really cool operational efficiency projects, right? Well, we'll leave it there since we've got a couple blogs and other episodes coming out where we talk about what's on the horizon at Omniboost. But what are you excited about getting to work on? And what is the next, the second half of 2025 look like for you?
So first of all, always improve still the support and onboarding process. But after that, it's also important with AI. Again, everybody tells about it, but for us, it's also important to use that, especially right now, to start early with it. For Salesforce, you have Agentforce. We are working hard on that to go live quickly. It's take a while, but it's important because AI learns from the past, learns from all the things you do. So it's important that we improve it every time. So it will be efficient for the clients.
So this is one thing that always impresses me. We have over 400 software combinations right now, right?
Yep.
We talk about the need for documentation and, the setting things up with our customer on the front end. From an Omniboost standpoint, how do we manage making sure the knowledge is there for all 400 integrations? Because it's there. That's the amazing thing about it. But how do we do that?
Yes, trust the colleagues, trust the people at Omniboost, work together. That's the important steps. And then, it's easily done. Yeah.
Well, the beautiful thing that we have set up, right, is the base platform. It's the onboarding platform that semantics layers from what we have in, a POS to a PMS or a POS to accounting or a PMS to accounting, and knowing that there's a semantics layer in place that if this happens, then this needs to happen, regardless of system. And then there's the documentation piece of some systems have limitations, some have endless opportunities and possibilities. Both add in a level of complexity, but also add in a bit of flexibility for the customer. And making sure that knowledge is being shared internally, it's being stored with our knowledge base articles, what we're doing within the website to make sure that stuff is easily found. And we have tools where that's going to even be quicker to find and asking a question to find the information you need to easily reduce some of the basic questions, right?
That's correct. Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
What is the value of talking to the customers for you? Getting to be here and talk to customers. What is the value for you to really engage in these conversations?
To show our brand, to show Omniboost what we are doing, that they know us, because still we are growing fast, but we still can grow much bigger, and that's also important that people see Omniboost and know them, and speak to each other about this.
I love it. Being able to, and I think one of the cool things about Omniboost is that whether you work on the support and onboarding team, you work in sales, you work in ops, you work in tech, is having that consistency that everyone is driving the brand forward and engaging with customers to talk from whatever level or layer about what the brand can do, what the platform can do, and the consultative piece. Like, what can we do to make your life easier? We don't always add in functionality out at the gate. We can always put it on a roadmap to add in to make it easier for our customers at the end of the day, right? Being unreasonably hospitable. Vincent, I appreciate you. You're going to be chatting a little bit here later with Romano as we talk about sales and ops alignment and events. But I'm going to have you pass off to Romano and go man the booth while Romano jumps in, so we make sure that we got some people walking around, jumping in, asking questions. So, Vincent, appreciate you, my guy.
Thank you.
Ramon. All right.
Hey, Rob.
Romano, this is your second time on the pod. We're here in Vegas. We're at a conference. We've been talking to a lot of customers. You know, when customers walk up to us that don't know about Omniboost and they come and say, "Who is Omniboost and what do you do?" What is the short hook that you always say to get them excited? What's that first 30 seconds of what is Omniboost to you?
Actually, it's a good question, because I've been changing what I'm telling about Omniboost every single year, really, as we're making progress and growing as a company, going from a company that builds integrations that connect system A to system B to a full stack data unification platform for the hospitality industry with not just integration solutions but also data warehouse solutions, visualization tools and the like. So it's actually quite a challenge to keep up with what we do and explain what we do in just a single sentence or a few sentences. What I do right now is, at this show, I told many people that came by that we focus on connectivity between the property management system, and we provide a seamless connection into the accounting platform that they are using. So concise, but I would say, short, simple, and sweet.
Yeah, and that's what we got to think about, right? Because we are consultative SaaS, and I know I say this all the time, we have a number of product and services. We have over 400 integrations. That's connectivity layer, right? That's PMS to accounting. That's POS to PMS. That's POS to accounting. That also includes things like event management, labor, marketing, etc. All the kind of sub verticals, housekeeping that we have connected in. And it's why we kind of, our tagline, the unification platform that enables them all. And there's kind of three key pieces, right? There's the connectivity layer, right? That is what we're doing here today. It's a lot of the conversations we're having when they don't know who we are. It's a new vendor, a new company that they're getting to understand. It's the connectivity layer first. That's foundation, right? Then we have the insights with the warehouse and the visualization layers, and building that out to a full ecosystem connectivity with warehouse, with insights, and with visualization. That is sometimes hard to kind of do in a 10-second, 15-second, 30-second elevator pitch, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I've been watching those programs on TV where founders need to pitch their startup or whatever company they're working on. Yeah. I'm not the founder, but I can imagine that's a super difficult task for those people to do in front of, a bunch of angel investors or VCs, right? So I always feel like when I'm at a show right here and I have to, pitch Omniboost in 15 seconds, it's one of the most difficult things about the initial conversation. Yeah. After that, things happen kind of naturally, but the first 10 seconds are kind of difficult, especially with new people.
It's quite interesting, right? And this is where I absolutely love it, right? Because what is the major challenge that we solve in our industry?
The major challenge that we solve? You're only asking me difficult questions, Rob.
Oh,
I thought it was going to be an easy podcast.
You're the sales director for a reason.
Okay. So we're solving data silos. I would say financial data silos. Yeah. That's one of the biggest challenges in the hospitality industry for restaurants, for hoteliers, for hotel chains, hospitality management groups. They're all running into data silos, and we are breaking those up and connecting the systems to each other. Ensuring that they never run into those issues ever again, and they can always reach out to us and we help them out.
Exactly, and I love this, right? I love the fact that it is, technology is amazing. And there's sometimes so many, on the whole, it's amazing. There's so many systems, and then creating data silos is kind of a natural progression of what has happened. for us to be able to eliminate data silos, create a single source of truth, whether that's through your PMS, whether that's straight into your accounting platform, or whether that's through a data warehouse that you can leverage into a full-on visualization, our goal is to help create that single source of truth through connectivity, through enablement, and through insights. And it's a unique challenge to always share that. And it's also fun when we look at an event like this, where a lot of it is connectivity first. Right? That's the base layer. And so making sure that they understand that it's a lot of manual process in the current way of doing things, the night audit, right? And we talk about the reduction in labor. What does that mean for your team? Well, it means that you have more time to focus on actionable things. For example, if you don't spend 4 hours on a night audit and you know that everything's going to be pushed same time every day, usually between 4 and 6 a.m., and you have your numbers there, what can you do with that information? Well, you can spend more time looking at your guests, your guest profile, and running out promotional opportunities for enabling your guests overnight, setting up different things where you could maximize the dollar of your guests, because you're not focused on doing a night audit every night, because that's already done for you. And these are things that when you don't think about when you're in the business day to day, but when we explain it to them, it's kind of like, oh shoot, that is kind of cool, right? And the other thing is what is the cost of a manual error, right? If you're consistently having a $2 or $5 manual error each day, that doesn't seem like a lot, but multiply that by 365 days a year, adds up real fast on the bottom line.
It does.
Right. And these are the things that we get to kind of solve. And so we've done a whole podcast about your background, the consultative SaaS approach, right? And as we continue to grow and learn and be at these conferences and do these things, how has that changed your perspective or enhanced your consultative methodology for the conversations that you have with customers, with hoteliers, with restaurant groups, with management companies about what Omniboost can do for them?
I mean, I think it's very close to the first topic we discussed, at the beginning of our conversation, right? For me, it's always a matter of, understanding and really think about what is the best way I can, talk to a potential new client or a prospect and understand what kind of problems they are running into. Because we can tell all the time we are breaking up data silos, we connect all of those systems for you, but that might not be the biggest challenge for that specific prospect or client. It might be that they run into a very specific thing between systems A and B, or something they do in their operational day-to-day tasks every day that they are running into. And so for me, it's a matter of understanding what is a specific problem that you run into, and is it something Omniboost can solve? Now, hopefully it is, but sometimes it might even mean that we suddenly understand we need to expand our services and solutions for the hospitality industry, because it's something we don't do as of yet. So it's a continuous, learning cycle.
Yeah.
And the only way we can learn and understand how we should best apply our solutions to this industry is by talking to people.
Yeah, I love that. And, you started, like Vincent, who was on earlier, you started on the support and onboarding team, right?
I did, yeah.
So the product knowledge and doing the onboardings for customers, onboarding hotels, onboarding restaurants. And now you're selling to them. And as we look at, Omniboost and what makes us unique is we have a platform. We can engage in the platform. We have self-onboarding. We have touch points. We have anything from basic service levels to white glove service levels, depending on the things that you need. And as Vincent stated, we know that one of the most important pieces of the experience is getting all the information right on the front end, right? Mapping, transactions, what exactly you expect out of the system. Now that you're continuing to sell into, you started off selling into single hotels, into multi-property, you're now selling into enterprise and management companies. How do you make sure from the sales perspective all the way through the customer being onboarded and live and post-live support? How do you ensure that we are collecting and capturing that data and making sure that the customer, the end user, has a seamless experience?
So what we've learned over the past few years is that initially we thought, hey, we're Omniboost, we are the ones that provide the integration, and we are responsible for the moment we, start talking to the client until the moment we deliver the solution. And after that, I think that's still the case. We are still the ones with the product, and we are the ones that make the lives of our clients easier. But what I've learned throughout, the past years is that ultimately clients also want to have responsibility in the process of building the solution. So yes, we provide the solution, but ultimately they're the ones who want to provide the input to get the best possible solution for their hotel or for their group. And so in our product, that means that we need to make sure that the variables which we need before we can even establish our solution need to be presented to the client, and they then have the opportunity to fill in the information, and then we can configure and do whatever you want to do. So it's, I would say, sharing accountability throughout, the pre-configuration process, presenting all of the relevant input factors through our base platform, through documentation to the client. We collaborate together, and then ultimately we arrive at the best possible solution for, the clients we love working with.
Yeah, and I think that this is for the consultative SaaS piece, right? This is where the things really become game changers. And the thing that we've really learned is that having the customer, even though they're buying a product or service, that they want accountability and responsibility in the overall success of the project. Because if they're going to be adopting this look and feel or this change to automate and change the way they've been doing business for 5, 10, 20 years, they want to feel that they're a part of that change and that they have that input. And I think that's a really cool piece. And it's something that, being here on the show floor here in Vegas, we've learned a lot, is that people want to improve process. They want to reduce, manual work. They want to power up revenue, right? If we're using the language of the week, right? And that's what Omniboost does. And continuing to engage them and making sure that from every touch point, from outreach to qualification to closing a sale to handover to onboarding and support to providing the documentation to post-service support and execution, as long as we continue to communicate and feel like they're a part of the process, it's a two-way conversation and everything goes smoothly. And it makes onboarding, it makes mapping, it makes the solution, and also allows us to understand where can we improve the solution? Where can we add additional functionality? Where can we add additional features, additional service? And it's a game changer for, I think, the way we collaborate with customers, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if we think about it, we just talked about breaking up data silos, right? And having data silos for a client is scary. It's not ideal, and it takes a lot of, it leads to many mistakes and, not saving on time within your business. However, what's even more scarier, I would say, is having a partner company that tells you, I'm going to break up the data silo, but I'm not telling you how I'm doing it. That's even more scary for a client, right, than having data silos itself. And so that's when I learned, what we just talked about, really. Provide the client with the input variables, collaborate, explain to them what we do, how we do it, and then provide a solution, and not provide a solution right away without telling anything in terms of how it works or what we need.
Yeah, and it's the collaboration, documentation, and it's the things that which was amazing about automation is that you can reduce data silos, you can completely change the game in creating a single source of truth, but also making sure that the customer understands why that's happening and how it benefits them.
Yeah.
And if we don't do that well in the front end, then it complicates in the back end. And then that's what we were talking about, Vincent, from an onboarding support. The more that we engage and properly get the right data in, the smoother the experience is going to be for everybody. When you change systems, it's never going to be, they always say the best laid plans, right? They always go awry. But we can mitigate those variables through the way that we collaborate. I think that's really unique. So
yeah. And one last thing I want to add is that I suddenly realized that, in the past few weeks, we've been in, many meetings together, as we always are, really. But what we told many clients in the past few weeks is, hey guys, whenever you start with Omniboost, it is going to be a very, very close collaboration. And that was something I was kind of afraid, to mention before, because I was like, the client is looking for a solution They want us to do the work, get a solution, and that's about it. In the last, few weeks, months, we've been telling them, guys, it's going to be a partnership, it's going to be a collaboration, and that's actually something they like. They're totally open to it.
Well, I think that's also part of because we're the hospitality business, right?
Yes.
And in some businesses and some things, they don't want to have an additional touch point or an additional company to call or have to collaborate. They just want to buy something that works. And we have customers that do that, right? That's why we have a whole slew of integrations that are being resold through our partners. They're completely integrated, where you almost don't even know Omniboost is powering the integration.
True.
Right? And those are there for a reason. But when we really look at multi-property enterprise brands, management companies from 5 to 50 that have multiple flags, that close collaboration for them is important. Being a true partner to them on how can we help reduce data silos, improve efficiency, reduce manual error and the cost of that, while providing great insights. And it is something that, it makes our job challenging in explaining what we do. Hence why I think this line, the unification platform that enables them all, really hits home to what we do: data connectivity, data unification, data flexibility. Those are the 3 core pillars of what our services and products offer. And it's why we always talk about consultative SaaS versus traditional SaaS, or, services only, right? There's a product and a service and they go hand in hand, right? Awesome. Romano, appreciate you for jumping in. This is your first time in Vegas.
It is my first time in Vegas, indeed.
What did you think? And what are some takeaways from being in Viva Las Vegas?
What do I think about Vegas? An interesting city. I mean, as a Dutchie, we're known for, never be too crazy in the Netherlands, right? If you're,
except for King's Day.
Exactly, except for King's Day, but
when the Dutch national team is playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. But other than that, if you're in the Netherlands, if you are a normal person, you're crazy enough already. That's what we say. And then you come to Vegas, and then that entire mindset, just gets crushed. Really, we took a cab, Vincent and I, from the airport to this trip, and I've been in New York 5-6 times now. I've been in Chicago, so American cities are nothing new, but this is just, for me, in honesty, it's a bit over the top. It's a nice experience, but it's a bit too crazy.
Yeah, it's Vegas. It's amazing. It's fun. It's exciting. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
And it's tiring.
It is tiring,
but all in the good ways, right? And
one thing I learned, though, and sorry to interrupt, but I just realized that I really want to work with one of those big hotels on the strip, like the Bellagio, the Venetian, Caesar's Palace, looking at 4,000 people in one hotel every single day, with 45 outlets, potentially $1 million in revenues every day. I think that's going to be a nice solution that we should be able to work on.
Yeah, so I love it. Hey, I'm not going to say no if you want to bring in the Venetian or the Bellagio or New York as a customer.
So far, I didn't do it because I didn't feel like Vegas, right? But who knows?
I love it. All right, Romano, appreciate you, my guy. Let's finish up a strong final day on the floor. And, excited for what we have going on in 25. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of things to continue to improve upon, but also it's just an exciting time for the company, exciting time for us. And, being at these shows just continues to highlight why what we do is really important, and continuing to spread that message and really show up for our customers where they are, right?
Totally agreed. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.
You bet.